Hi, I'm Andrew Jacobson, Oboe professor at Colorado State University. Today I'll be helping you prepare for the Colorado All-State Band and Orchestra audition. This year's material is taken from the Voxman Selected Studies for Oboe. The slow etude is found on page 23, is in E-flat major, and is marked andante, which is a walking tempo. For this etude, I'll cover 3 topics: how to play turns, fingering options for tricky passages, and lastly, we'll talk about some rhythmic issues. First, we'll talk about turns. For those of you who aren't familiar with turns, they're those funny-looking sideways, backward S things. For example, in measure 2, the way that you play a turn is you play the note that's written, in this case F, the note above, which is G, back to F, down to E, and back up to F again, and then you'll go on from there as written. You'll notice that there's an E natural written under this turn. That just means that the lower note is natural. Normally in this key it's E flat, so here you'll play it E natural. There are a couple of possible rhythms that you can play a turn in. You could do 5 equal notes, which will sound like this. Another way to do it is to play 1 longer note followed by 4 quick notes. That's a 16th and 4 64ths in this case. So that'll sound something like this. There's one other rhythm that you can do that involves a triplet. It doesn't really apply here, so we won't talk about it. But that's it for turns. Next, we'll talk about some fingering options for measure 17. It's kind of tricky. If you have a left-hand F, you have 2 options. The left-hand F is this key right here. So your first option would be when you hit the downbeat of measure 17 to play left-hand F, and then you'll go to your high D. High D is half whole 2, 3, 2, and the C key, followed by a B flat, and then A flat, but not just any A flat, it's the right hand A flat. You play it with the right side of your index finger, and then left hand F again. That's your first option. Your second option is to, once again, play left hand F on the downbeat, then the high D, B flat, regular A flat, followed by forked F. Forked F sounds okay when it's in these quicker notes like this. You want to avoid playing it if you're going to be playing it for a long period of time, but here it's all right. If you do not have this left-hand F, then everything that you use will be forked here. So you'll play the forked F on the downbeat, high D, B flat, left-hand A flat, that's the normal A flat, forked F, and then the rest is just as written. Another tricky fingering, there's a high E flat in this excerpt. A standard fingering that you can use is half whole 2, 3, 2, 3, and then the B key. Comes out pretty easily. Lastly, let's talk a little bit about rhythm. In this etude, there are different rhythms back to back, 16th notes, 16th note triplets, 32nd notes, and transitioning between those can be tricky. So when you make the shift, for example, measure 10 going into measure 11, where we have 16th notes going to 16th note triplets, make sure that when you get to those triplets, you don't drag and you don't rush. It's really easy to lose that sense of pulse. So practice those 2 measures with a metronome, just making sure you're right with the metronome, especially when you get to the second measure of those 2, measure 11. Same thing applies to measure 16 going into measure 17, where we have 16th notes going to 32nd notes. Once again, don't rush, don't drag, and practice with the metronome. Another thing that's really helpful for communicating your rhythms is to use emphasis. For example, that same measure 10 and 11, where we have the 16ths to the triplets, when you get to those triplets, give some weight to the beats and direction towards each beat so that it's really clear what the rhythm is. Same thing with measure 16 and 17. Also, when you get to measure 17, that third beat, the F, the turnaround. Give that F a lot of direction towards that F and some emphasis on the F. And that'll just help clarify the rhythm. Thanks very much for watching and good luck with your audition. Feel free to contact me with any questions. And now I'll perform the etude.